Pursuing the truth with a vengeance. American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.com.
Hey folks, how you doing? This is American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.com. It's Sunday the 21st, May 2017. I'm recording this for a reason. I'm not using the desktop Spreaker app for the studio, but there's a reason why I'm recording this in another fashion. There's a lot of things going on, and, you know, I've said many times before that I don't want to explain myself anymore. So I'm going to make this one last statement, and that's it. You know, because I'm at the point now where it's just gotten too crazy that people are you know, no, hold on. Let me preface this with, you know, with this. Let me preface what I'm going to say with this. Some people might think that, you know, well, you're just projecting your own, you know, your own thoughts on this and blah, 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 and you're thinking certain things that aren't, you know, the way they are in reality. And, you know, I've been down that road many times. And I've been down with it, with, you know, that road with other people as well. And it just got, you know, after last night, after this past week, after just, you know, seeing what I've seen, I'm turning a new page, man. I'm that chapter is over. Now it's, you know, I'm the author of my own life, or in terms of what I need to do. The book is there. It's been empty. The pages were blank. It's me to write the story of my life, as well as it is for you. But that chapter's over with. It's a new chapter. And I basically, you know, look at life and say, you know what, hey, there's a few things that need to be done. I need to do a few things, but I also need to admit a few things to myself that I never, you know, really, it was hanging out there, and it was kind of hanging in there like your clothes in your closet, and you kind of look at it and go, well, that won't fit anymore, but I've got to start losing weight for that to fit. You know, you've been there. You know what I'm saying. So in the last several years, I know that I've taken time and really explained myself in many different ways, and I'm sure that people understand it. I'm sure that people get it. I'm sure that people understand where I'm coming from. So I don't have a problem with that. Virtual high five to you folks. It's the other people that you may know, that I know, that, you know, are around you or around me, that just think, oh yeah, he's going off on one of his rants again, you know, whatever, and oh, he's one of those conspiracy theorists or whatever, you know. I mean, these people are always going to be out there because they think they know everything, and they don't. And they'll fully admit that they don't, but they'll have that inkling of, yeah, I know more than you. Yeah, so these are just, let me, enough of my preface, if you will. Enough of me. Let me just give you this last statement, and from this point on, I am never going to explain myself to anybody, because here, listen to this. If you're on my personal Facebook page, you know, you've probably seen this already, so I'm going to read it to those who haven't. And I start out by saying this. Not to make light of anything that is completely serious in our society today, and there are a ton of things that people ignore or completely make fun of, I can say, after 40 years of research and investigation into geopolitical issues and subjects, I can say with confidence that there is one party in the US of A with the players split down the middle and the controllers who are the elites of the world playing them off of one another. we the people who are the brunt of jokes from those claiming that I and others in the independent media are nothing more than conspiracy theorists. We, the people who tear apart the mainstream propaganda media, will always seek to do what is right, say what is truthful with facts, and take responsibility for our actions and hold ourselves accountable for what we say. With that said, I will continue to periodically conduct spring cleaning of my Facebook pages and unfriend and unfollow people that do not want the truth and cannot accept the facts. It is my duty to disseminate the truth, the facts, without all the BS. It is also my duty to reveal who is behind the curtain, pushing the buttons and pulling the handles. I cannot, will not, put up with anyone who is ignorant of what is going on. Of course, as I know, there will be constant contention of those on the opposite side of this, and I want to say one thing to them right now. Fuck off. If anyone cannot handle the truth, if anyone does not want the facts, please unfriend yourself now. Additionally, some might think I want people around me that agree with everything that I say. This is not the case. I want people to disagree with me. Just place your information you have on the metaphorical table of debate and we'll discuss it. If you cannot or do not want to, there's the door. Bye. Have a nice day. I'm fully aware there will always be conflict and contention from people that seriously and adamantly disagree with me. Well, you got two choices. Either discuss it with me or go away. If you think that people get too emotional when they talk politics, you might be one of those. You might be one that is just fine ignoring the obvious. You just might be one of many that will never accept anything outside of your self-imposed isolation in your safe space. You are just one of hundreds of thousands that will continue to convey the delusional message you have been indoctrinated with through your governmental indoctrination institutes. And, lest we forget, we have a ton of history proving beyond anyone's doubt that we are being lied to methodically, systematically, and completely without regard to the consequences on society. That is my statement. I will not explain myself anymore. And that's just the way it is. Okay? And with that said, let me move on. Let me also say, as a little side note here, but kind of related to everything that I do, some people have, well, let's just simply put it briefly like this. I watch a lot of YouTube videos of various subjects, including not only geopolitics, what's going on behind the curtain, all this. I watch those and I analyze those myself. But I watch other videos pertaining to UFOs, clandestine, organizations, all of this. And I look at these things and I ask myself, is this real? That's number one. Number two, I say, is it possible? That's the second question I ask. Now, when I look at things like that, I listen to people and their criticisms of these things as well. It doesn't have to be a YouTube video. It could be a post or whatever. And I have to ask myself, do they get it? Do they understand it? So when I look at YouTube videos, I want to say this, that I will continue to listen to and watch Alex Jones, Michael Savage, Mark Levin, Rush Limbaugh, sometimes Glenn Beck, not all the time, but sometimes. I will continue to watch videos from Secure Team 10 and others concerning UFOs and clandestine organizations and NASA and all of this, because A, I want to, and B, those reveal things that are going on. And those things, as Tyler over at Secure Team 10 does, he presents this in question form. In other words, he puts it out to the general public and says, hey, I don't know what this is. I'm not going to make claims to this. I want you guys to figure this out. But this looks pretty strange to me. And he puts out this information about UFOs and Mars and the moon and all these other things. And he says, okay, here's this. What do you think of it? Instead of saying, okay, this is what it is, and I claim this. And no. See, that's the kind of person I want to sit down and talk with, because those people who do not put their information on the table of debate will always be in contention with anything that is outside, as I said, their personal space. They'll always be, because they don't want to step outside of that comfort zone and say, hey, wait a minute. They don't want to do that. They want to reside in their delusional safe space and just continue to manufacture things from their preconceived ideas. That's something that I've spent years and years and years studying just on an individual basis from various people. People's preconceived ideas can be powerful, but the foundation of those preconceived ideas are shattered when you realize just how many lies they base their preconceived ideas on. You see what I'm saying? So pay attention to people when they, including me, man, pay attention to people that say, go out and investigate this stuff on your own. Because you know what? For me, I'm going to speak for myself right now. I don't have all the answers, and I don't know it all. I mean, that's just the way it is. And neither do you. But we're presenting something in a discussion that should make you question everything and say, wait a minute, I heard it was this way, and you're presenting it in that way, and so, I better go research this. Most of the people I talk to won't. Just to tell you straight up, a lot of people won't. They'll continue to sit there and just, go from there, and say, well, this is what I believe, and that's just the way it is, and I don't want to. Yeah, okay, yeah, go ahead. Hey, up on, let me switch gears here and go here and share with you this. Up on American Liberty Radio Podcast on Facebook, there's a video that Alex Jones put up, and he literally just slammed, in a good way, all his, a particular critic of his program, and that would be the far-left liberal loon, Mr. Stephen Colbert, as Stephen Colbert does his character of Tuck Buckford. And Alex Jones has all that on there, and InfoWars exposes Colbert disinformation campaign. So that is up on American Liberty Radio Podcast. Go check that out. I'm not even going to give you my take on it. I want you guys to go and give me your take on it. So, drop a comment in there after you see the video. China killed a dozen CIA sources after uncovering spy operations, U.S. officials say. Agency assets killed and imprisoned between 2010 and 2012. And we're buying material and products from China. We're allowing their products to be at Walmart, Target, wherever else. And we're buying this. And they killed our people. And this is what U.S. officials are saying. Agency assets killed and imprisoned between 2010 and 2012. And we're buying stuff from China? Well, you got to thank Bilderberg member Henry Kissinger, former Secretary of State under Richard Nixon in 1970s, for opening the door for trade with China. So why don't we close that door? Because I guarantee you, we can build stuff and make stuff and produce what we need in America. We don't need to have companies outsourcing or going overseas for cheaper labor. We need them back here. We need to, borrowing this phrase from President Trump, make America great again. But then again, on the other side of that, and since I mentioned that article, the headline of that article, I will put it up on American Liberty Radio Podcast. There are a lot of people that are going to say, well, if that was the case, then he wouldn't go to, President Trump wouldn't go to Saudi Arabia. Well, yeah, he would. Because the friend of a friend of a friend of a friend, the friend of my enemy is my friend, or however that phrase goes, you know exactly what I'm saying. But what's the other adage? Keep your enemies closer. Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. That's, you want to pay attention to the enemies, not to the, your next door neighbor. Well, that too, but, My point is that there are people out there that are going to say, well, he shouldn't have gone to Saudi Arabia, and look what he did, and they all do, and all this, right? Well, Javier E. David over at CNBC, the 20th of May, 2017, yesterday, said U.S. Saudi Arabia seal weapons deal worth nearly $110 billion immediately and $350 billion over 10 years. Quote, largest single arms deal in U.S. history, negotiating a package totaling more than $109.7 billion. That's immediate. The United States has sealed an arms deal with Saudi Arabia, the White House announced on Saturday, a move that solidifies its decades-long alliance with the world's largest energy producer, just as President Donald Trump begins an official visit to the country. I mentioned this on my podcast yesterday, but I will put this particular article up there on American Liberty Radio Podcasts. He's doing that because it's a strategic way. Now, hold on here. There's two things I want to say about this. Number one, we are buying oil from Saudi Arabia. We need to stop that immediately because we have enough oil here in the U.S. to handle ourselves. And B, we need to get the hell out of OPEC. That's just the way it is. Now, on one side, that's what's happening. On the other side, Saudi Arabia kills and beheads Christians and homosexuals. Don't believe me? Go check it out. Hey, if I'm wrong, I'll admit it, but I don't think I am. If I've overlooked something, I'll go check it out. But they kill people that don't agree with them. Okay? That don't fall in line with how they play with the other players of the world. They freaking kill people. That's just the way it is. Why are we buying oil from them? Why are we, making a $350 billion arms deal over the next 10 years with these people? Why are we giving them $109.7 billion right now for arms? Or, giving that much to them. Why? It just doesn't. Why? I don't get it. I seriously do not get it. Okay. That's just me. I may have overlooked something. 20th of May, 2017, Breitbart, mainstream media propaganda from Khalidi tape to quote-unquote nut job. Friday's supposed quote-unquote bombshell stories follow the same pattern. The common element in nearly all the major New York Times and Washington Post stories about President Donald Trump this week is that they are based on source documents the outlets cannot authenticate, do not possess, admit are partial, and refuse to share. I'm going to put that up on American Liberty Radio Podcasts for you folks to check out. I don't know, folks. I mean, I'm literally at a crossroad here. And basically, I know which path I'm going to be taking, but here's the crossroad. You've got on one side, let's say you're staring at this Y in the road, this left side, you've got all kinds of just signs all over the place saying, hey, come down this way, we're fine, it's, everything's going to be great, we're going to take care. You got that over there on the left-hand side. There's a reason why I say left-hand side. Then you have on the right-hand side, you have one sign that says one way or this way. Okay. At the left-hand side, you got all these signs. Hey, come here, I got this, and it shows pictures and everything, all that. You got whatever. On the right-hand side, you got a sign that just an arrow that says this way. My personal belief is I'm taking the road on the right just because I'm not inundated with BS from the left. And the road itself, from what I can tell, is much smoother than it is on the left because there's not too many potholes. There's not too many things happening. But here's the other thing, folks, about that crossroads. There's a way that we can identify the quote-unquote potholes. We can identify those and we clarify those things as well with other information that we attain. But that would simply be the facts. But nobody wants the facts, folks. Everybody's seeing all the shiny lights and the baubles and the trinkets on the left-hand side and all the free stuff they say that people want and blah-de-blah-de-blah. You see all this stuff. Then all of a sudden, you're gonna step into that left-hand side. You're gonna cross that line of the event horizon where there's no turning back, and you're sucked in. Well, not me, because I grew up understanding what the other side was doing and how the other side was engaging in society to take down the vast majority of the people on the right. Now, a lot of people would say, well, geez, if there's only a sign on the right that says this way and you don't see anybody else, how do you know that's the right way to go? Good question, but I have a question for you. How do you know it's not the right way to go? Kind of an interesting little tidbit of information there, isn't it? Well, anyway, let me move on. I'm at that crossroads, folks, and I'm going to take the road that has less stuff. Okay? I don't need to be inundated with anybody else's BS. I'm just, I'm tired of it. I can't and won't put up with anybody else's ignorance. I'm just done. The city of Baltimore is utterly collapsing. Baltimore has a worse homicide rate than Chicago, but doesn't receive as much attention. Since I read that one, I'll put that one up as well. Owen Schroyer, Infowars.com, 19th of May, 2017. So it's a video, so I'll just post that up there. So anyway, folks, I wanted to let you know in this little podcast that there are certain things that people need to pay attention to. Certain things. There has to be a moment of clarity when somebody gets that aha moment and says, hey, wait a minute, we've been screwed. How can we stop this? We have to have that aha moment, and I think we've had it, but the left, with all of its trinkets and baubles and, fancy things and lights and shiny things, and, they play a role in our massive distraction of what is right and truthful and factual and accurate. Because they are the people who are Well, honestly, I'm going to say this. They're suffering under their own delusion. I'm serious. At least that's my opinion of it. And that's what, out of my observation of who they truly are, they're suffering under their own delusion. They've been so inundated with bullcrap that I don't think they know how to smell clean air. I really don't. I like to say they have their head so far up their ass that when they fart, they give themselves a migraine. But that might be going too far or not far enough. Who knows? I've never once confronted someone in such a way to where they would have that aha moment. I have been on the receiving end of someone enlightening me on certain things where later on I went, oh, aha, I found that, so I've been there. I know what it is. But when I tell people certain things, when I describe certain things, when I give them the truth, the facts, all of that, I've never seen them go, oh, wow, aha, I found the information. I've never seen that. And to me, just to me, and this is my own observation, I have found that as I move forward in this information dissemination, and I give you the accurate truth, the facts, the knowledge I have, fully admitting that I don't know everything, fully admitting that this is what others are saying, I only want to encourage you to go out and look this stuff up on your own. Please, because, you might find something I may have overlooked. And we all do. Did I overlook it because I don't want to see it? No, I sincerely overlooked something that could be a very crucial element in the discussion. So that is why I don't want people to always agree with me. I want them to have some sort of disagreement or a complete disagreement with what I say and sit down and we can discuss this. Besides, we're all adults here, are we not? As far as I'm concerned, I think that when people do sit down and discuss these things and we can walk away with smiles on our faces and, we can buy each other a coffee or something, that to me is a productive day. That to me is a productive day. But when I sit down across from people, metaphorically speaking, at the table of debate, and they just start throwing accusations and claims and pointing fingers and yelling and screaming and trying to outshout me, I just get up and walk out. Those are the most ignorant people that I have ever seen in my whole entire life. I won't put up with it. I won't put up with it. It's just not something that I really am a fan of. When I've got when I'm talking to someone and they're talking to me and I have to finish their sentences, I chuckle because I do that, and have done that in the past. And that just tells me they're not up on the information that they're trying to tell me. They don't have their story straight, as it were. So, folks, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you very much for listening. Go to AmericanLibertyRadio.com for more information. AmericanLibertyRadio.com. Go to American Liberty Radio Podcast on Facebook, and I will talk to you later, folks.